In order to get a good experience in WRC 10, you really need good force feedback settings. These settings work in conjunction with the settings in my previous videos showing the wheel specific settings. These are the in-game settings. Tire slip, I like it 0. I don't like any vibration from the tire slip angle at all. And ground surface effects, the 12 is good for the range that my wheel is performing in. This does the counter steer effect. It's not counter steer assist, it counter steer simulation, and that does the overall force of the tire, and that does it's in conjunction with the overall force. So I use the overall force to limit the self-aligning torque, and then also as well as the self-center torque as well, which is lower than the self-aligning torque. The self-center torque is high enough to get good feel in the center of the wheel, but low enough to not cause too many oscillations in conjunction with the tire load and the overall force. The recenter force is just for what do you call it? Centering the wheel when you're not driving. But so just to reiterate, the overall force controls the self-aligning torque and the self-center torque, which I have set to maximum, which should be 100%, but it doesn't matter. But those were the settings. And I'm doing voiceover, if you didn't know. My controller has to be off when I play this game. So the suspension was the previous, and then the differential. They changed the preload to where 100 is now fully locked. It used to be that 0 was fully locked. Now 100 is fully locked, and then this is what I like to get stability out of the car. Brake force is at 70, and transmission.
Flat right tightens into left 5 short into right 5.
The car feels a lot better at high speed, more stable with these settings. It doesn't oscillate so much. Getting really good counter steer feedback with the counter steer or the self-aligning torque settings.
Right 5 hard brake into left 2 tightens. Into right 4.
It doesn't feel like there's so much resistance to counter steer anymore with these settings. I don't know if you've driven with a wheel in WRC 10 or even 9 and 8 before, but there used to be with the G29 a lot of resistance to counter steer, and you have to really force the car with your arms to counter steer the wheel and the wheel. Now it feels more natural.
Caution, hard brake, square left opens. And left 5 into right 4, don't cut, narrows, long 50. Caution, right 4. And left 6 long, tightens 3, don't cut, 50.
The car slides on the brakes really nice. Good rotation. I'm still really bad at hairpins now with the new wheel. I need to readjust my driving style to fit the new hardware I have. So you don't have to press the clutch to use the handbrake in this game, but I still like to for habit. Generally, if you're going to do a handbrake turn within a rear-driven car with the rear-driven wheels, you have to press the clutch to pull the handbrake, otherwise the rear wheels won't lock up. I don't know how these rally cars perform. They might not have to do that anymore either in real life.
Left into right 4 and left 4. Keep into right 4, tightens, long.
This section is so much easier with these settings because the car is less wobbly. The suspension is still wobbly, but the feedback is less wobbly. It's not oscillating so much at high speed.
30. Right 6 short, narrows, and right 4.
And it's not just resistance to counter steer, like adding in the steering damper. It still wants to counter steer naturally.
Left 5 short, 100. Left 5 very long.
And I mentioned it in my previous video in part 2 of the force feedback settings. The
right 5 short, left 5, 50.
Force feedback inertia is what is allowing the steering wheel to counter steer more realistically.
Left 5 hard brake into square right 30. to left 4, 200.
This isn't my fastest lap of this stage, but I'm still getting used to the wheel and how it feels on the road. I get into a little sideways slide here, hit the inside too much, and then this you're supposed to cut, but they put a bump here now. It wasn't there before, so it has to be taken slower, but you still have to cut it to go the proper speed. And I don't like using the handbrake in this turn. It's a little bit tight, and then this one it's really sloppy. I just didn't go fast enough.
Right 3, 150.
Like I said, I'm still trying to figure out how to do the handbrake turns with the new hardware.
Right, small cut, 30. Left 2, don't cut, 30 over flat right.
A little wide here, understeer on the apex. And that's the stage. It's not my fastest time, like I said. I'll show you the ranking that I drove in with previous settings. But I didn't really put out that great of a drive. There's a 344, close to 10 seconds faster. And 93rd, and a top 100. That's not bad to be a top 100 in the world. Could be faster. I could optimize my drive, but that's about it. Now just onto the replay in silence. So I'm really excited that I get to play WRC 10 again. I mean, I had to stop it with the WRC 9 because my old wheel just was too broken to be functional. Now after a couple days of testing and retesting, the feedback feels good in both Gran Turismo and WRC. I don't have to change the presets on the wheel to get to perform on these two games. I'm going to try it with Assetto Corsa Competizione soon, but hopefully I don't have to change the wheel, what's called the wheel preset at all. That's my goal. But so far it works in WRC 10, like I said, and Gran Turismo 7. Anyway, I'm really impressed with this hardware. The shifter is really super high quality. I mean, everything is high quality. The wheelbase, the wheel, everything. I don't necessarily like how grippy the wheel is for drifting, but it's nice and grippy with the gloves on for regular driving. It'd be nice if it was a bigger diameter. I mean, I could always get a new wheel that has a bigger diameter, but I'll probably stick with this for a while. It's a perfectly fine wheel. I don't need to drop another $200 on a new wheel. It's not a necessity. This has enough buttons. It's round, so I can do multiple motorsports. Yeah, having multiple wheels would be a nice luxury to have. Almost at the end of the stage. Yeah, top 100. Not terrible. Could do better though. Till the next one.